Bartomeu, you gotta step down, dude. This is embarrassing. So the board is obviously in confusion. They don't know what to do. They know that change is needed. Fans are demanding change. Players are demanding change. But the board simply does not have any answers. But luckily for you, you stumbled across the best Barcelona page in the game right now. As always, it's your boy TinchoSports. And I have you guys exactly what Barcelona need to do to get back and running as always. The idea that I'm proposing right now for Barcelona is not exactly a rebuild, but a restructuring. And that starts from the board, that goes to the coach, and that also includes a lot of the players who are there only because of their name and not because of what they've done in the last few years. Within the next few weeks on Barca Boys podcast with my boy Lex, we're going to be going over the players that need to stay, the ones that should stay, but I'm open to selling if a good deal comes, and players that need to get out. After the Bayern game, I said 3 players are untouchable. I said De Jong, Messi, and Ter Stegen. I'm going to add Lenglet on that just because he's usually a rock in the bag. Everybody knows we're an ancient team, and I know that you want to keep the same core group of players. Their starting spot in the starting 11 should not be cemented the way it is. We have tons of young players that are itching for at least a chance. The game has evolved. You know, when Barca was at the peak, we were running it because we were small and maybe not the fastest, but we were also the most technical teams. There's no team in the world that was more technical than us. But now we have teams that are just as technical and faster and stronger. So we have to adapt to the game. If that means Pique needs to head to the bench, then so be it. If we don't trust one of the center backs that we have either in our academy or in our own bench, then we got to go out and get one. Team gives up 8 goals. I think one of the last few people that you should be blaming are your strikers. I mean, even then, we still scored 2 goals. Suarez still ended his Champions League away goal drought that went back to 2015. We can't win a Champions League with a striker that doesn't score on the road. It's really just that simple. Suarez has struggled to score in Champions League games, especially on the road, leaving all the goal-scoring burden on Messi. So Messi threatened to leave, and I know everybody got scared, everybody got worried. But for me, personally, if Messi ends up leaving Barca, it might not be the end of the world. Now, let me explain why. Barcelona, and similarly to Argentina, have been in a go-now process these last few years. They know that it's Messi's last few years. They got to take advantage of it, so they're going for it now. They don't let the rest of the players really figure out how to work in with the team because the team revolves around Messi. We've seen it with Dybala in Argentina. We saw it with Coutinho in Barca. All of a sudden have to adjust to Messi. Some of these players just aren't capable of doing that sometimes. So if Messi were to leave, we would finally get rid of that burden that we have to win now because we're ruining his last few years of his prime. So if Messi were to leave, then we could say, hey, you know what, fuck it. Like, there's no expectations really for us right now. Let's go out, let's get a younger team, and let's build it from the top. This reminds me of Rijkaard's final season, where there were a lot of big name players that shouldn't have been playing at that point, and that there was a need for fresh air, and that's exactly what Guardiola brought on. But when Guardiola brought on, remember the signings that he made. He brought Pique for 5 mil, he brought Dani Alves as a right back, and he promoted players such as Busquets, Pedro, and Messi evidently became the star player of that team. And I think that that's something that we need. So instead of going out and buying all these players, it's just figuring out the players that we have and how to put them together. And then you go out and buy the key pieces to whatever is left to do. It's about smarter moves that work with the system instead of the bigger names. There's no sense of signing all these big name players like we have, like when we signed Dembele, like when we signed Coutinho, like when we signed Griezmann, if we don't know where we're going to play him. So instead of signing these big names, instead of signing these Arturo Vidals, instead of signing these Griezmann, let's go out and get players that we know will fit with our system. If we have a good project, and I guess if the board resigns, Messi's willing to stay, which obviously I am 100% on board, but we need to make change now. So if Vidal already left, if Quique Setién already left, Bartomeu, you got to step down, dude. This is embarrassing. This is 3 straight years, and whether or not you're on the pitch or not, it still goes back to because you are the club president. So if I'm Bartomeu, I resign. We bring in a new president, we bring in a new coach, and we started from scratch, dude. It's a whole new project. At least give the fans something to be excited about. I was not excited about the season at all. If the new coach wants to come in and get rid of tiki-taka, but we start winning, that's really all that matters, because maybe tiki-taka just ran its course. Teams have learned how to play against us. Maybe it's time for something new, and I'm okay with that. I, like Messi, just need a new project for the team. Now, if that means that we're going to give more times for some of the younger players and we may not be competing everywhere, that's all right, as long as there's a future. But we're not, when we're losing and not even competing in these games with a bunch of 29, 30-year-olds, that's not exactly a good thing going forward. This entire season was terrible. There were a few players that I could point out. I mean, Messi had the lowest goal since 2008, 2009. But the biggest thing for me this entire season was players being played out of position. You know where to put him. They had Griezmann in the wing when he's, when you've seen it, he's not a new player that you're trying to test out. You've seen where he succeeds, and he just decided not to play him there. So none of that really makes sense. We're clearly not at the top of the world anymore. But as long as we're competing and we're taking steps forward, I think that's what the fans, and that's what Messi really needs. Bring in new players, bring in new coach, bring in a whole new system. If we want to keep the tiki-taka, great. If we don't, then that's fine. The game has caught up to us. What can we do now? Thank you guys for watching the video. As always, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn the notifications on so you never miss a video. See you guys on Friday with a brand new jersey.